What you just sat through was a budget hearing, and so we're going to go into our regular scheduled meeting right now. If you just got here, we want to ask you to please silence your cell phones and your electronic devices, and please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ms. Wagner, please call the roll.
Present. Ms. Bolton? Present. Here. Ms. Jones? Here. Mr. Manera? Mr. Nell? Here. President Copeland-Dansby?
Here. I need a motion to approve the minutes from the special meeting held June 7th, 2017, and the regular board meeting held June 7th, 2017. So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved as presented. We have several very exciting presentations tonight. I think my colleagues here would agree that when we're talking about students and children, we get really, really excited. So part of this I'll turn over to the Assistant Superintendent. I know that first of all, we're going to honor our district's state champion boys and girls track teams. And originally, our Director of Athletics, Josh Harden, was going to be with us, but I think we have someone different to fill in for him. So come on down.
Maybe we could ask all of our students, we'd like to honor you. Could you please come down onto the floor? Yes, we want to see those trophies up close, and also the Gamble team, so come on down, everyone. You can come here.
Come on over.
Oh, those are lovely. Look at that.
Yeah.
God.
They're jingling all they want.
Hey, oh my gosh, look at that.
Go ahead. All right.
Hey, what you need to say?
Hi there, my name's Ricky Miller. I've been the lead intern for the athletics department for the past year and the assistant to Josh Harden. As you stated, unfortunately, he couldn't be here this afternoon. He's feeling a little under the weather, but it's definitely my honor to congratulate these group of students tonight as we recognize their talents and accomplishments over the past spring season. This spring, Cincinnati Public Schools has had multiple state champions in track and field, which did include making history for both schools. First, the Gamble boys 4x100 relay team finished in first place after a very exciting race in Columbus at Jesse Owens Memorial Stadium. This marks the first state title for the Gators in school history. Good job, guys. Now I'd like to introduce Miriam Wise, as she'll recognize the extraordinary efforts of these hardworking students and athletes as they performed at the high stage.
As by way of traveling music, I would like to say that proud does not describe how I feel about this team, and I feel about the job that Coach Wise has done at a school that has no track. I've got a plan for a 110-meter sprint track in the front yard, if anybody's interested in talking to me. Coach Miriam Wise.
Hello, thank you. Very excited to be here and be recognized. These three gentlemen plus Gilbert, who couldn't be with us today. have made school history. We've been working at this for 4 years. This is my 4th year as a coach. Anthony's 4th year as an athlete. Martise and Malik are juniors. We'll be seniors in the fall. And this is our third time going to state, and with this relay, working towards getting the gold. So they have been putting in time and energy, not just this year, but for 4 and 3 years. And again, as you know, there is no track on the west side of town. So these boys take a 40-minute bus ride every day to get to a track so that they can practice, so that they can excel. We would love to see that changed, but in the meantime, they will continue to do above and beyond what is called for their athletic excellence, and I'm extremely proud of them, and thank you so much for having us.
Great job, guys. Next group we'd like to recognize has rewritten the record books in Ohio and has proven to be dominant as anybody else on the track. Congratulations to the girls track team from Withrow on their 3rd consecutive state title. On top of winning the Eastern Cincinnati Conference and having a variety of first-team all-conference selections, the girls came together when it mattered most and used their combination of experience, athleticism, and poise to find the top spot at the podium at the state championship meet. With girls participating in 11 different events, which is nearly unheard of, Withrow would ultimately find themselves bringing home their 3rd state championship in 3 years, a feat that has never been accomplished by any other Cincinnati area high school. Here to help recognize these talented young ladies is Coach Tim Crooks.
Thank you all for having us again this evening. We're not new here, and that's a good feeling. We have sophomore, rising junior, Chicago Wright, rising senior, Jalea Smith, rising senior, Tylene Jones, rising senior, Zaria Hodgkin. Then we have graduates, Simone Mason, Nia Carpenter, Destiny Pennington, Marquita Beckham, and Donisha Brewer.
All right.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Do board members have any questions or comments?
I do.
Okay, Mr. Nelms.
Have a seat. First of all, congratulations. But to put this in context, there's thousands and thousands of athletes that participate annually in co-curricular, extracurricular activities throughout the state, not only in the district. And just to get to the state is difficult. But to win the state is even more difficult. And one of the things we consider when we're considering nominations for the district-wide Athletic Hall of Fame induction is the athlete that made it to the state. That's one of the first qualifying criteria because it separates you from everybody else. And for you to do it 3 times, a three-peat, even more phenomenal, ladies. So I just want to say, who run the 100 meters? Where you at?
The fastest one.
Excellent. I just want to say, in my mind, I'm going to call you out. So after the board meeting, I want to run you in the parking lot. Just in my mind. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations. And I also want to say to the coaches, because we forget about the driving force behind the athletes, where you have to encourage them mentally, emotionally. You have to motivate them. You have to get them to where they want to go. You have to help them to believe in themselves, even when they don't even see it. I wanted to say kudos to you, because you are kudos tonight. Kudos to you coaches and you players. And Carl, I've been knowing you since not when you was a pup, but when you was born. And to continue to see you. You're just old. Yeah, I am old. But to continue to see you, and then last year, you was right before us last year, so it's almost deja vu repeated. So please come back next year, keep doing what you're doing. And again, congratulations, and we're proud of you.
I think when the young ladies walked in, everybody just kind of went, woo, woo, because you obviously have your hardware to show your work. And I think it would be nice if you would turn around so the audience could see you. But the other piece is, these guys are making a lot of noise when they came down, so they should turn around and let you see their medals and make noise.
Ms. Bolton.
Just please, before you head out, we want to shake your hands. And I want to thank you all for starting a tradition and you all for continuing one. This is a proud night for CPS. And your families. Are the families here? I know you
All right, families.
Yeah.
Well, I think in closing, I'll just say thank you for representing our district so wonderfully well. For our graduates, good luck to you. I hope you're on your way somewhere to use your skills, talents, and abilities, including your sports. And who was the sophomore? You got a long way to go. I'm so proud of you, absolutely. And our rising seniors, it's on you to do it again, right? Congratulations to our young men here. And again, to echo what all of my board colleagues have said, congratulations to you, and you'll go very, very far. Thank you to our staff as well and our families.
Shake hands.
Come shake our hands. I want a photo. Good for you. Watch the wire. Congratulations. Watch the wire. Oh, yeah, watch the wire. Congratulations. Nice job.
Good job.
Nice job. Congratulations, ladies. Congrats.
Stay focused. Don't relax. Don't relax.
Congratulations.
Stay focused.
Congratulations.
So much for being a CPS. Wonderful job.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Fit sisters y'all got right here. Congratulations.
Thank you. You're so good.
Good job.
All right, young man, full of hands. Congratulations.
Starts at the top. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Good work. Congratulations.
From the west side, I love it. Congrats.
Those are some shining stars.
But all of our coaches for supporting our student athletes and putting in the time and effort. We'd also like to thank the families and parents for supporting their student athletes. So a big thank you to everybody again.
Thank you for being our intern.
Thank you.
Our next presentation is exciting as well, as the district is the recipient of grant dollars supporting or in support of certifying STEM teachers. And so I'll turn this over to our superintendent.
That is correct. So I'm going to ask Michelle Hughes, our science curriculum manager, and Terry Davis, our grant writer, to come down and introduce our special guests who actually have brought a check. So this is very exciting. I believe with them is Katie Rushman from the Duke Energy Foundation and Community Affairs. Oh, look at that large check, literally and figuratively.
Beautiful. Good evening. Good evening. President Dansby, to our dedicated board, to Superintendent Mary Ronan, Treasurer Jennifer Wagner, and to all of our colleagues and community members. It's very good to be with you this evening. My name is Terry Davis. I joined you in January as the grant writer, and in February, I had the opportunity to write the Duke Energy STEM grant and the opportunity to work with Casey Rushman, the Duke Energy Foundation manager.
Excellent.
Thank you, Terry. And thank you for having me tonight here. I'm here to present a grant check for a teacher STEM professional development. At Duke Energy, we are committed to giving back to the community, and we are focused on early childhood education, STEM education, workforce development, community impact, and environment. Supporting STEM education produces skilled workers who bring innovation and new thinking. I have a quote here from the Greater Cincinnati STEM Collaborative. Jobs in Greater Cincinnati STEM fields are growing at twice the rate of non-STEM jobs, and our region currently has about 30,000 unfilled STEM positions. Studies show that nearly 1/3 of students engaged in STEM lose interest by 4th grade. And that jumps to 50% by the time they reach middle school. By 12th grade, only 17% of students are both proficient and interested in STEM. It is critical that we give back to the community and focus on STEM education. Some of the work that we, Duke Energy, have supported in CPS is just last year we partnered with Donors Choose to support STEM projects. And we have since then donated about $50,000 to Cincinnati Public Schools and supported 80 projects via Donors Choose. Some of the schools that have participated in the program, Evanston Academy has had 17 STEM projects, Withrow High School, 12 projects, Kilgore Elementary, 6 projects, and I could go on with the 26 schools and teachers that have put projects in Donors Choose for STEM education. Duke Energy also volunteered at the Rising Start Academy on Vine Street last year and partnered with Principal Finney to do outdoor landscaping and beautification of that school. And we will be at Roberts Padilla Academy in August to also do a volunteer activity. But today we're talking about the STEM professional development program, and Michelle is going to give a little update on that program and what it entails.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Make sure I do this right. Okay, so Terry and I are going to kind of co-present here about the grant objectives. And so, you want to go ahead and take that?
Sure. Just briefly, we wanted to let you know that there were several objectives that guided writing the grant. We have been looking, I know, as a district for viable opportunities for professional development related to STEM. And that is very important because, of course, as you're quite familiar with, there is limited funding and, of course, limited resources in terms of time as well. Only a certain number of days are designated for district professional development. So we needed to look for other ways of doing that, and we were able to find that here, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. In the objectives, our priorities, obviously, we wanted to look at STEM schools, those that had that STEM focus for our Vision 2020 schools, with a particular interest in supporting our elementary schools. We're very excited about this because the benefits to the district through certification, you can go ahead, through certification actually not only better prepares our teachers and allows more efficacy in the classroom, but it also will allow us ultimately to attract more high-quality teachers and high-ability students, and ultimately additional support from our business community. So as a result of the grant, we are going to be able to see certification take place for 16 of our CPS teachers and our coaches through 5 of our schools: Bond Hill, Roselawn Condon, John P. Parker, Pleasant Hill Academy, and the William Howard Taft. Okay. Michelle's going to share a few details with you about the certification program that we have selected and the rest of the program design. I just would like to say that I learned that Michelle has a real heart, a true heart for developing STEM resources for our schools and for our teachers. She has been looking for 2 years for funding for programs such as this, and I believe that all of us will find it very much worthwhile.
Thank you, Terry. So we have a partnership with the University of Cincinnati with the SEAMS, which has focused on our 7 through 12. But we wanted to build a progression of learning so that we can build the capacity within our elementary schools. So in my 2-year search, I had the opportunity of meeting Dr. Terry Talley from Rice University. They were in the development of a program to develop a STEM certificate that would be nationally recognized, and also a partnership with the American College of Education, so that would be in a blended learning format. And so there we have the National Institute for STEM Education was founded, working with Dr. Judy Zimney, who will be coming to Cincinnati, and we were able to get a grant through Duke Energy, very generous grant for $15,000, to where we can fund at least 16 teachers in the project, and then provide some on-site and online professional development. Just to give you a little information on the program design, it's a blended learning format, competency-based education. It has 15 teacher actions and 3 domains. So if you can look, one of the things that it looks across is guiding principles, student autonomy, constructivism, explicit and reflective methodology, and then 21st century skill building. It fits very well with what we're doing with My Tomorrow and also with Vision 2020. In addition to that, there are 3 domains and 15 teacher actions. So each of the domains, creating an environment for learning, building scientific understanding, and engaging students in science and engineering practices, has teacher actions that are aligned, and teachers are building a portfolio. What we have not included in this presentation is the most recent collaboration with the developers of the program and our math manager, Emily Campbell, to make sure that the teaching and learning also includes mathematical practices. So our program timeline is to begin around August 2017. Teachers have 1 year to complete the course. They will have coaching online and on-site, and also professional development in the same format. That's it. Any questions?
Do board members have any questions or comments?
I do. Thank you. So, but show me the money before.
So at this time,
They've been coming up showing the checks.
at this time, Casey has a presentation for us.
Okay, yeah, but you could tease us before you get official. But my question.
This is a $15,000.
Okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to see. Yeah, show me the money. My question while y'all profiling. Under the domain and under the creating an environment for learning, number 3 caught my attention in terms of, give me some examples of how you connect learning outside of the classroom, because I do believe that learning outside the classroom is an extension of what's taught in the classroom.
So part of that's interesting, fits in what we're doing with the Vision 2020 schools, so that each of our programs have a focus, but we're also connecting them with real-world people. So the connecting the learning outside the classroom also gives the teachers an opportunity to show kids, where do I apply this learning in real life? So give an example. If students are studying about triangles and studying about the different types of triangles, we can look at bridges and architecture. So being able to make that connection in a real world setting, and then invite the people in. So we have partners already in our schools and with Vision 2020, so it's going to make it really relevant for our students.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you so much for your work, and thank you so much for your support to our district.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our final presentation is based on our school-based health centers, which is very near and dear to my heart. And I know these ladies are incredible, and I can't wait to hear.
Indeed, I believe that Francie Wolgren from Interact for Health, she's the Senior Program Officer, will be starting the presentation, and I want to personally thank Francie. Without Francie, we would not have the 25 health centers, 3 dental clinics, and a vision center in Cincinnati Public Schools, without the support of all of these individuals, and especially Francie. So thank you so much for being here tonight. We can't wait to hear the update that you're going to give us.
Thank you.
Oh, and there's Dr. Crumpton right behind us there.
Do I have to push it? No.
You have a handout of the slides that we're going to cover. I'm going to go very quickly through my part because I wanted some of the site people to have a minute to talk about what's going on in some of the particular sites that the providers are doing for us. So on your front sheet, you can see where all of the active school-based health centers are at this point in time. And I'm going to be talking about the dental and the vision and the primary care. So why are we doing school-based health? This provides easy access to primary care and prevention services, and the students do perform better when they show up to class healthy and ready to learn. I have some of the national school-based health parameters. Basically, we exceed what most of the school-based health centers have in the country because we do have the vision and we have the dental, and very few of the school-based health centers have access to that. There are all your sites. The benefits are enrolled students receive primary care and prevention services. We have consistent management of students with chronic diseases, and this is a significant benefit that helps a lot of the children who would be missing significant periods of class if they had to be off to go to a physician offsite. It improves school attendance and definitely reduces the barriers to learning. I wanted to recognize all of the partners for primary care. We have the Health Department, Crossroad Health Center, Mercy Hospital, Children's Medical Center, and WinMed. We also work with the school leadership and staff, with the local decision-making groups. We work with other community partners. Interact has funded in CPS over $18 million. So I don't have a big check, but we've been paying it out. We're still paying. We're still paying more money for Academy of World Languages. I was at meetings all day today about that, for the extension we're going to be doing there. And we have had other funders we have brought to the table. The scope is, we said we have 25 sites serving 26 schools. The good news is that for dental and vision services, those services are provided to students beyond just the sites where the school-based health centers are. There is busing to get children to those services. Primary care visits this year, we have had 34,553, and that data is only through March. They're still seeing people in several of the school sites right now, so those numbers probably will be closer to 40,000 than they are to 35,000. The Vision Center saw 4,200 visits, and the dental had 18,507 visits, and that was through May. And they're also still all open and seeing people right now. No, not right now, tonight. They saw them today. These are some of our fantastic Vision Center staff. And I wanted to let you know the new sites that opened this year, we haven't presented to you all recently. We're at Taft IT at the virtual high school, also serving that area. The Levine Family Center that serves Children's Home in Schroeder, and they will take students from other places on the east side as well. Taft Elementary, Crossroads operates that center, and they will see other students besides the ones at Taft. And Stellar Park, Mercy has that community health center, and it took us 3 years to get a partner for that site. So we're real excited that Mercy is at that site, and we're looking, and by the beginning probably of 18 school year, we should have the expanded vision, dental, primary care at the Academy of World Languages. So the most important part about what we wanted to do tonight is I have providers here, and they're going to take a minute to give a brief update about what they're doing, starting with Marilyn Crupton.
Thanks, and we'll all be brief, but one of the things I wanted to do is thank you, all members of the board, and of course, Ms. Roman, for all the partnership. It has been so amazing. It benefits both of us because the best measure of health is academic achievement. So that's one of the reasons we're here, is we get healthier people out of this bargain. So thank you so much for this wonderful partnership. A couple of the things I was going to mention just briefly is we have been working closely with MindPeace, which has done a fabulous job with putting mental health services in the schools. And we worked last year with Aiken High School on a needs assessment there, working with the American Public Health Association. They came back and offered additional grants, so our schools asked us to sign up, and so now Withrow and Taft High School are now participating in that. This is an important partnership where it brings us, the school-based health and school nurses, closer to the mental health partners and ensuring that we're creating the connections that are needed so our kids are getting the services. It has been a wonderful opportunity. And in the beginning, you know, we look at the fact that the mental health services are, I guess by definition, almost a little bit siloed, because there are a lot of things that we have to do to protect those services. But what they've done is reached out and embraced the school-based health centers. The end result is great expansion of access to mental health services as well. So I want to thank MindPeace also. So thank y'all. I think Mercy's going to talk now.
Hi, good evening. My name's Rachel Dahl, and I am the nurse practitioner at Sailor Park. As Francie mentioned, we just opened in November of 2016. So we are open through the summer because we are open to the community as well. My little story is focusing more on the parents and the community members. As many of you know, Sailor Park is kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and there isn't much around. So for many of our parents and students, it's very difficult to get to a primary care provider. They either don't have the time or they can't find a primary care provider that will take their insurance, which most of the time is Medicaid. When we interacted with many of these parents after calling them to discuss their child's well visit, their sick visit, coming to get their child, the parents would usually call back or come in and say, hey, could you see me as well? So we've actually established many of the parents as their primary place of health care, and they haven't seen a health care provider in years. So this not only helps the children stay healthy, but the parents stay healthy so that they can make sure that their children are getting what they need. Many of them comment on how convenient it is to be able to be seen where they already come once or twice a day. They also comment on how welcoming we are and how comfortable they feel being there. One mother commented that she had decided to establish care with us after both of her boys commented on how nice and friendly we were when they came to visit us when they were sick. So, thank you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mona Mansour. I'm a pediatrician from Cincinnati Children's, and I wanted to just tell a little bit of story about Children's, which operates 3 school-based health centers at Rockdale Academy, South Avondale Elementary, and Hughes High School. And one of the things that we have worked very aggressively on is not only creating these centers as centers for children in the school, but really for children in the broader community. We have over 80% of the students enrolled at South Avondale and Rockdale consented for services, and over 60% at Hughes High School, which has actually been a journey. When we started the year, we were around 23% of kids consented. But we also have over 1,400 community members consented to receive services in those schools, about 500 each at Rockdale and South Avondale, and about 400 at Hughes. And we know that provision of the services to these other additional families is really a mechanism of keeping these kids connected to the schools, and not only for the kids in the building, but a lot of those additional community members are younger children, younger siblings. At the 2 grade schools, school-based health centers that house the preschools, we serve over 200 children that are 0 to 2. So again, the idea that we're really sort of speaking true to the true concept of a community learning center, and hopefully encouraging those younger children to stay connected, stay enrolled in Cincinnati Public Schools. At South Avondale in particular, we've also participated in some really exciting national collaboratives initiatives around students with asthma. We know that's one of the #1 reasons kids miss school and are absent from school. So really trying to focus on some education with students and staff around how to keep kids healthy and in school. And we've also been collaborating with part of Cincinnati Children's community health strategy around reducing disparities in bed days in terms of keeping kids healthy and at home and out of the hospital, and doing some really great outreach work in making sure kids who have asthma are on their controller medications, specifically looking and outreaching before fall and spring where exacerbations tend to be high and kids tend to miss a lot more school. So just really wanted to take the opportunity to share that, and I'm going to say happy birthday to my high school government teacher.
Hi, my name is Angel Taylor. I'm the nurse practitioner at Woodward High School. I was asked to speak about the success of Woodward this year. This was the first year that Woodward has had a full-time nurse practitioner. So it's been a big challenge, but it's been a really good success. Some of that can be attributed to the major key factor, which was the partnership. We've truly formed a partnership in the school with everyone we come in contact with every day. We work hard in our school-based health center to perform positive relationships with the students and the families, the staff, and the administration. The other school-based partners, we work really close with the Children's Home and CYC and the Urban League. We strive to remain visible at school and parent events. We strive to be accessible to the students and staff with an open door policy and to remain compassionate and helpful to all that need us. Some of the improvements we've made this year, we have weekly lunch and learns where we set up a table in the cafeteria for all of the lunches, and the kids, really it's open door. They can come and ask any question they want, and if they're too nervous, they can write it and put it in our little box. We do weekly healthy fun facts that go through the whole media system that is in every classroom. We do weekly fun facts that go to the staff and to the parents on kind of more adult topics such as blood pressure and cholesterol issues. We've also developed working relationships with the Health and Careers Department that's at Woodward, and we work very closely with the athletic department, and we do most of the sports physicals and take care of some of the minor sports injuries there. So we just plan to continue this partnership and make this year an even better one. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have one thing that we really wanted to recognize is Mary Ronan.
So we brought you a book. That's so nice.
I just hope I don't have the same clothes on at the various
You don't. You have
ribbon
different-
cuttings. I'm okay. But that's so sweet.
We have
Thank
notes from some
you.
of the students. We have notes from some of the providers. We have some pictures of some of the centers. And this is just a very token of our appreciation.
Thank you so much for the memories, the Euler Tooth Fairies. Oh my gosh, thank you.
So we didn't know if you had any questions, but we are really excited that we had a chance to come here and talk to you tonight.
Yeah, I do. I want to thank you for your time and thank you for the amazing work that you're doing in our schools. I think it was the opening at the Taft High School that I had a chance to join Superintendent Ronan and you all there. And I just know how amazing it is for our students to have this type of resource, not only for our students, but for our families in the community as well. And you talked about how, these resources are helping our kids focus on what they're there for, and that's their academic achievement. They're not sick, they have glasses, they can see, they're well, their teeth don't hurt them. It's amazing how much this really means to every single one of our families. So I personally want to thank you.
If you get back over to Taft, the students have painted an amazing mural that has the whole continuum of being students, and they're dressed in Taft colors, graduating and becoming professionals.
That's awesome. That's amazing. And I have had the opportunity to visit several others, Rockdale, Withrow, and a couple others. So thank you so much. Ms. Bolton.
I just want to, first of all, thank the good doctor. You just almost made me cry, and I'll do that later. I appreciate it. She was as wonderful as a kid as she is a grown-up. Just several things that I want to point to. the whole Vision 2020 piece of rebuilding our neighborhood schools. When you look at the map that we've received tonight, the vast majority of where these school-based health centers are located are neighborhood schools. So that's all part of that rediscovery. It didn't just start with 2020, it started throughout the superintendent's efforts, and I think that's great. The career path opportunities at the high schools, particularly where there's a health center, because they get that exposure to that professional. For example, at Woodward, it's critical that they are seeing in action, because one of their 3 or 4 or 5 pathways is the health effort. Same in Riverview and what have you. But the piece too of, if you will, self-sustaining. You know, somebody said leveraging the good. And that's really what this is about. You are leveraging the good, and we're happy to be that partner. And I think you're right to cite the superintendent's leadership, and certainly right to thank for all the work that Francie's done and everybody, all the partners. But I also want to, yeah, it was a great group, and I also want to make sure that the commissioner gets her due, because she has maybe second only to the superintendent of school the toughest job in Cincinnati, so under terrible and difficult circumstances. So we are fortunate, we are blessed, and keep leveraging the good. I just think this is fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you, and I made the book. That's great.
I want to thank you too. I think when most people hear about our health centers, they immediately recognize the importance for our students. I think it's so important that you all raised how important this is for families and for healthy communities. Oftentimes, if mom or dad are sick, they can't get their kids to school. If a younger sibling is sick, that means maybe mom can't get the older siblings to school, so that isn't as intuitive, so thank you for raising that. And I think one of the other interesting benefits, when I was touring one of the schools that has a dental clinic, the principal said that almost all the teachers had changed their dentist to the dental clinic. As a former teacher myself, I know how hard it is to get to the eye doctor, the dentist, because you don't have a flexible schedule, right? Like my lunch period was from the random time of like 11:52 to 12:17 or something, and you can't leave to get your eyes checked during that time. And how important it is to have a healthy staff. When our staff are absent, that impacts our kids' ability to achieve. And so that was just another benefit to having the dental clinics, the eye clinics, the health clinics right there, is that it keeps our staff healthy as well. So thank you.
Any other comments? Thank you again so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And I do want to thank you for the memories. Thank you for the memory book, and thank you for the Growing Well meetings, where I learned so much as you ladies. You bring everyone together, you talk about the data, you track everything. It's been truly incredible. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and please let us know what we can do as a board to continue your success as you move forward.
We'll continue to report out.
Please do. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm all caught up here. Let me get back to that. Thank you.
That was just so sweet.
That is really, really nice, yes. Ms. Bates, please present the retirements.
Yes, I have retirements, people who have served us in the from our civil service personnel. And they are, get to the page. Kathleen Roberts, Kim Salit, Marcia Welsher. We thank you for your service to our children and wish you well in the future.
Thank you. Mr. Nelms, would you please present the resolution for board consideration? You caught up in the book too.
I wanted to say it's just highly coincidental in your memory book that it has the colors of my famous alma mater, Taft High School. So green and gold, it's a nice color. I want to present the resolution authorizing 2017 to 2018 membership in the Ohio High School Athletic Association, and I present as it is.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion or comments? Ms. Wagner, please call the roll.
Mrs. Bates?
Aye.
Ms. Bolton?
Aye.
Mrs. Hoffman? Aye. Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Yes.
And Dansby?
Yes. Our next resolution will be a joint presentation of the resolution. It is something that I am very pleased and proud to bring forth, and I'm happy to have the support of my colleagues here at the table. So we'll do one of our infamous round robins to share with the community. I did have the opportunity to notify or to mention this to our superintendent as we were at one of her many to come celebrations last Friday, because I didn't want her to fall out of her chair when we did this.
I appreciate the warning because I had not read the resolution, so thank you.
Yeah. The other thing I thought of, well, if I don't tell her, she's going to know anyway because she knows all from her staff, right?
Well, I try to.
And you've done an amazing job. So in all sincerity and all seriousness, I'm going to ask Ms. Bates to help get us started. Do you guys have this in front of you? Okay, great. Let's go.
Yes, and I have a resolution to establish the name change for the Cincinnati Public Schools Education Center. Whereas the Cincinnati Public Schools Education Center moved into its location at 2651 Burnett Avenue in December of 1995, and whereas on August 1st, 2017, Mary A. Ronan, Superintendent of Cincinnati Public Schools from 2008 to 2017, will retire after 40 years of service in the district, and
whereas Ms. Ronan's accomplishment toward quality education not only benefited the students, but the entire community, and Ms. Ronan continuously fights for raising student academic achievement, and
whereas under her guidance, CPS's acclaimed community learning centers expanded to 42 schools with 25 school-based health centers, 3 dental centers, and a vision center, and the district's 10-year, $1 billion facilities master plan created modern technology-ready buildings for all students and was completed on time and on budget, and
whereas Mary Ronan served as superintendent, interim superintendent, director of schools, assistant superintendent, principal of Kilgore School, earning the 2001-2002 National Blue Ribbon Award of Excellence, assistant principal of Woodward High School, K-12 supervisor, science and health science teacher at Withrow High School, and math science teacher at middle schools, including MC Mary Middle School, and
whereas Mary Ronan, a devoted and loyal employee of the district during her tenure as superintendent of schools in November 2016, saw successful passage of a 5-year, $7.93 mill levy that will provide CPS with $48 million annually in new money for operations, specifically to expand access to preschool and to support community priorities for K through 12 education, and successful levy passages in November 2014, November 2013, and November 2009, and
now therefore be it resolved that the CPS Board of Education change the name of the Cincinnati Public Schools Education Center located at 2651 Burnett Avenue to the Mary A. Ronan Education Center in honor of Mary A. Ronan for her many contributions to the education and well-being of Cincinnati's children and in the Cincinnati community. Do I have a second?
second,
third.
fourth, fifth.
Any discussion or comments?
Yeah, I want to say, Mary, it's been my pleasure of knowing you and before your tenure in your role. And 40 represents trial testing and a generation. And the fact that you've been here generationally for so long to have an impact on our kids. And, you know, I said some things Friday at the gathering about your personality and how your personality during that time helps to fit and nurture and represent what CPS is all about. I want to say personally, I'm going to miss you. Thank you. And not only am I going to miss you, but I'm going to miss not only your wisdom, but your insight, but just your service and personality to love and to give of yourself everywhere you go and in everything that you do. And when they finish speaking, I want a hug.
Anyone else?
Well, of course, we're going to miss you. It's been a long haul. I think you and I hold the institutional memory of this
place, and now you're leaving. But with you, it's always been the children first. Whenever a decision was made, it was always about the children. And that's, you know, that's what was in, that is what's in your heart and always will be. And I really appreciate that as a board member, because it kept me on track and kept that, you know, kept that forward in my mind as I made my decisions. So thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, I don't even know what to say. This is truly a great honor. I feel like I've come full circle. I started in this building, I was 22 years old. I was a math and science teacher. The building was called Mary, M-E-R-R-Y. And I had, you know, no clue at that time that it was unimaginable that I would become superintendent of the district. So you really don't know where life is going to take you. Then I came back to this building in 2001 as director of schools, one of those titles that you read. I have enjoyed every minute of it. It has been great to work for the children in the Cincinnati Public Schools, and I am going to miss all the children, all the staff, and all of you. Thank you so much for your support. You have been fabulous to work with, and this is such an honor. I just don't even know what else to say except thank you so much.
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't say we need to thank Carl and your daughter for allowing you to do what you do. And so, I want my...
It's true, he kept the home fires burning while I was out and about.
Yes, you did. Thank you so much.
Well, while they're doing that, Treasurer Wagner, can you please call the roll?
It would be my pleasure. Mrs. Bates?
Aye.
Ms. Bolton?
Aye.
Mrs. Hoffman?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Nelms?
Yes, ma'am.
President Copeland Dansby?
Absolutely, yes. Thank you. Yes, your staff is amazing.
Madam President, if I
Yes.
could just add two things, the old history teacher in me. Mary has been in public education in the few decades that have been the hardest for public education. When you really think how public education has been under assault and all the demands being made and all the challenges being made, for someone to start as a teacher and go all the way through and be able to position us for even greater greatness because she was here, but more particularly also leave us a group of people that can pick up the mantle. So there isn't anything on the big picture that you have not helped us get through. And I really think it's important for us to understand the historical significance of your leadership and the times that you served.
Thank you so much. Superintendent, do you have a report?
Yes, I do. I'm just so delighted that I can turn the spotlight on some outstanding Cincinnati public school educators. And, all righty, we need to go to this next slide. Last Thursdays, these remarkable educators were honored at the Rotary Club 17. It was lovely. It was down at the Hilton at the Hall and Mirrors. So I am going to start on the left and talk about our great teachers. Sarah Lytle, she's from Sands Montessori, and she got the Teacher Leader Award because she's always on the lookout to expand resources for the students in her school. She created a Reading Buddies program where the older students pair with the younger students, and she has secured actually lots of money from our partners to expand the students' horizon. Next is Lucretia Jones, who volunteers her time to serve on grassroots organizations. She's on the District Arts Council in Kennedy Heights. She's written and produced original plays, sponsored student councils at Woodford Paideia. Then there's Michelle Leesgang, also from Woodward Academy. She got the Humanitarian Award because she has started 4 autistic units across the district. Nice. And she's on the team that created an autism demonstration classroom at Children's Hospital. Then we have Tim Futchman from College Hill Academy. He got the Innovator Award. He was out of the country in Malaysia, so he always brings a multicultural perspective to his classroom, so he could not attend. And then finally, Vera Brooks, principal at Roberts Paideia. She got the Administrator of the Year for setting that welcoming tone for all of the children. And if you flip to the next slide, you can see their names and where they're from. So this was congratulations to all the Rotary Award winners. Like I said, I have a great team. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the revised recommendations of the superintendent?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Wagner, please call the roll.
Mrs. Bates?
Aye.
Ms. Bolton?
Aye.
Mrs. Hoffman?
Aye.
Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Nelms?
Aye.
President Copeland Dansby?
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve the revised report of the treasurer?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Wagner, please call the roll.
Ms. Bates?
Aye.
Ms. Bolton?
Aye.
Mrs. Hoffman?
Aye, but I recuse myself from 1G.
Let me see.
I used to work for the organization, so I don't want any.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Ms. Jones?
You're so nice.
Aye. Mr. Nelms?
Aye.
President Copeland Dansby?
Yes, thank you. Are there any inquiries or updates? Yes.
I have one inquiry, if I could, and I spoke with the treasurer beforehand. I just wanted to be able to say it publicly. If we have some questions about the budget that was presented to us last week, I'm not talking in terms of the preschool only, but the overall budget, can we submit those questions to you and the superintendent for explanation? Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Ms. Hoffman?
We received a draft of the Workforce Development
Yes.
Committee Charter and wondering how we give feedback on that and when.
Yes. I wanted to bring that up too. We want to do one of those things where we send our questions or feedback to Phyllis and she compile it and maybe push it out to us the next time we get a board packet, which will be a week from now. The next board packet. Yeah.
Timeline for submission.
I'm sorry.
Timeline for submitting any.
Timeline for submitting, if we could do it by this Friday, I think that'd be good. Today's only Monday, we've got the whole week. Seems like a lot of time, doesn't it?
And President Dansby, since we're on that topic, Kelly Bagayotto is trying to get the group together, the Workforce Development Council, per the assignment on Wednesday for an orientation meeting. It is next Monday at 1 o'clock here in 1A in case any board members would like to attend. And I did send an email to you regarding this.
I'm going to ask Ms. Davis if you could please put that on my calendar. Monday, 1 p.m. I'll do my best to be there. Any other inquiries or updates? Well, I have one. I just learned something. It is Board Member Bolton's birthday.
What?
Yesterday. So we must sing Happy Birthday at the board meeting.
It's better that you sing than I sing, because I can't.
Real quick, 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you.
Girl.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Eve. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Our
Means a lot to
pleasure.
me.
Are there any assignments? You're supposed to say no.
I know, but it's my birthday, so. I was troubled by some of the statements that were made during the preschool piece, and it shows some sort of, I believe, misunderstanding and perhaps misinformation, and I just would like to assign the superintendent the hard job of trying to figure out how to clear that up, because I have heard from people that were in attendance at the budget meeting that from the other group, and I think there is great confusion, and we seem to be being depicted as villainous folks And I really think that it needs to be addressed.
I'll be glad to. Since it looked like both speakers came from 4Cs for Children.
Yes.
Maybe I got the second lady's name, Terry Alexander, but I didn't get the first one.
I can send it over
Maybe
to you.
letters and maybe a copy of the master agreement, because it seems like they don't realize what's in the master agreement and what was agreed to by both parties and that we're all moving forward on.
Yes, also, I think the gentleman, the first speaker, was invited to meet one-on-one to explain that. But I think even kind of deeper than that, those meetings happened so close together when we had ours and then they had theirs, and there's still a great deal of confusion. The biggest question is, why aren't they more aligned? And folks don't really understand that they're not supposed to be aligned. And so I don't know, I just feel like there needs to be a more proactive, communication. I don't know how we do it, but something so that the public is better informed. I do agree that what was presented tonight at the budget hearing was very clear. It made sense to me. I don't know what we do, but,
Yeah, so I was actually going to take some of what you just mentioned and maybe suggest some of those slides that you show that very clearly depict funding coming in to the fiscal agent and where it goes and how that governing body's there. This is a public document, and I think for me, it's crystal clear. And so maybe that, and creating some sort of one-pager, 3 and 4-year-olds to 100%, the numbers that you have, by each of those, some compilation of our desire or partnership to support community partners, because we absolutely do. But, some kind of one-pager that we can disseminate in places. It could be an ad in the Inquirer, it could go on Facebook, it could be on the website. But it's the same consistent message, along with the personal, correspondence that you can send to some of these folks that I'll leave you their names.
Madam President?
Ms. Hoffman.
Yeah, one of the points of confusion seems to be this idea that we're like skimming money off the top or something.
Right.
So I feel like that's one of the parts that in this one pager should be explained. And also that this didn't come out of nowhere. This was literally in the resolutions that we passed way back when we started working on this with the preschool promise, that it doesn't make sense from either a logistical or a financial standpoint to have money go from us to somewhere else just to come back to us again. That's like the definition of inefficiency and bureaucracy, right? And so we had written into the original resolutions that based on a formula that we would come up with together, CPS would retain that funding, and then there would be these checks that happened. We get the same checks that everybody else gets to make sure that the funding is correct and anything there that needs to be aligned will be aligned, but that has been in place since the beginning, since we started these resolutions, and why. And then what we're retaining is literally part of a formula that we've agreed to. And so I think that was part of the confusion as well, that this isn't something that just came up. This is something that has been in place since the beginning of these conversations for very specific purpose of being efficient.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes, so in the spirit of collaboration and transparency, the finance professionals of all the representative entities started meeting, I think back in February, and we meet every other week for a couple hours. And so we started off by modeling the numbers and making sure that we agreed to the logic behind those formulas and the projections that we were using, so that we were all on the same page. Now, some of the underlying assumptions have changed over the couple months. Like we started off only looking at 4-year-olds under 200%. And so as we changed those assumptions, the data has changed. But I just want the public to understand that it's been a very collaborative effort, and we spend a lot of time together. We also, the team of us actually drove up to David Yost's office, the state auditor's office, to get guidance from, because this is new in Ohio, and we just don't know what their audit requirements are going to be. So we did that together. And so, yeah, I was a little taken back by the skimming comment too.
Well, yeah, and when we made this partnership, we said this was groundbreaking. We said this was hugely collaborative. There are no really best practices for Cincinnati, so that's why it feels difficult. That's, in my opinion, that's why it feels hard, because it is groundbreaking and we are setting a precedent. So, if there's anything that anyone else can suggest that we do, I've heard some things about small work groups, if we want to form another work group, happy to help support that, or whatever we can do to move this along. But I feel very strongly that we, as the fiscal agent, need to put some sort of piece together that clearly communicates where we are and what this really looks like.
Right, and just one last comment. As the licensed treasurer for the state of Ohio, it's my responsibility to ensure that every dollar we spend is for a proper public purpose. So we're trying to take a very conservative approach, making sure that the money follows the children.
Absolutely. Yes, Ms. Bolton.
I think everything that everyone has said is good. The one pager, I think, particularly reaching out particularly to 4C, because they are the experts.
Right.
And if they're confused, then the public must be truly confused about what's going on. I do think we do need to emphasize the separation of their CPP budget from our budget. I think we do not have any control over that any more than our 3 representatives on that board can vote one way or another, and I think that's critical. I also feel really strongly that the board has been united throughout this effort, our board, and particularly holding on to the 3- and 4-year-old and seeing this as a poverty initiative as much as it's an educational issue. And all of a sudden, I started to hear things about childcare instead of preschool. I heard childcare mentioned 11 times during those presentations, and it's never been about that. It has always been about, obviously, preschool. And I think we do need to see the numbers from the other side, and I appreciate the work that the treasurer and our representatives have been doing with this group, but I really feel we have to clear this up right away. Even the confusion in the newspaper recently in the thumbs up, thumbs down article on, was it Saturday or Sunday, where they were asking some very serious questions about the CPP budget, and it sounded a little bit like they were thinking it was ours. And then the whole levy piece that this one woman mentioned, we have to get this cleared up right away. It might require even meeting with the NCAR editorial board in a formal way once we start to get these things resolved. But that master agreement was done mutually, those numbers were mutual, and to Member Hoffman's point, it would be absurd for us to think, as the taxing agent, that we then give money to some other body. We can't. This is not a grant. This is public money that voters have voted on, and that's never apparently been clear to some people.
Any other comments? Having no other business, we're adjourned. Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go put on my t-shirt.
Yeah, we gotta get home.